the public and or parties with a right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the town website at www.yarmouth.ma.us. For the public portion of this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch or listen in the meeting may do so in the following manner. Watch a live stream on Yarmouth's YouTube channel located at the following link. Join the meeting hosted in Zoom by using the link. I don't think I need to go through all that.
No, that's all. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you. So I'd like to take a vote on that. Kathy,
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Judy,
Aye.
Sandy, I, and Kurt just came in.
No, Kurt's been here.
Oh, I'm sorry. And,
Mhm.
I was here before you were.
oh.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. So tonight we're here to hear from the police chief on the body cameras and hear the proposal on that. And after that, we will be looking at our recommendations. We are going to set up another meeting next week, hopefully to make our final recommendations for the board for the May 4th meeting. So with that, if I'd like to turn it over to Pat, do we have anything else you want to bring up before we hear the presentation?
No, I know that the deputy chief, I've shared screen with him, so he's co-host. So if there's anything, they can share it, but I think the conversation will be more just a discussion and everyone's here and able to speak. So I'll let them go with that.
Okay, great. All right, so let's turn it over to Chief Frank. And Deb, if you want to share your screen.
There's nothing to share. The chief is just going to be talking about the information that we've been able to find since the last time we spoke.
Right,
So,
that's
Chief
great.
Jefferson.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for putting extra effort into this. It's much appreciated. It's important. Did most of you see the presentation to the selectmen?
Yes.
And was that forwarded to you? So I don't need to really rehash all of that.
Correct.
The way I like doing business being bottom line. And when it comes to finances, like, okay, where are we? What does it cost? We understand the reasons. I think I can entertain any questions you want regarding the presentation. Does anybody have any?
No, I guess we have some questions on where you were at in the process as far as the use policy is concerned, the bid, questions like that. I have.
Okay. We'll start. Which one do you want first? Go one at a time. I'm a little slower in my briefing process here.
We talked last year when this got brought up, we had questions on the use policy and have you adopted any or drafted any use policy? Has it been presented to the board? I guess that's one of my questions.
Yeah, well, first of all, when a policy is made, it's a collaborative effort within department. And in this case here, it's even by contract that we collaborate with our union members. So
Right.
we make sure everything is above board, that everybody's accepted. That's the best way to get buy-in on anything, when you include those who are most infected. So what we've done is we have a collection of policies, and they all basically say the same thing. You use the best practices, and like any type of technology or equipment, there's always something evolving. And body cameras are new to this region, not across the country. So there are foundation policies that we have, and they're being established strong. There are uniquenesses to Massachusetts law, where there's a wiretap statute, which it's a murky area, and it depends on which way the sun comes up, how somebody reads that. So when we develop, we have a internal team with our policy, with union members, the deputy, and other members of the department. We have collected the state police policy, which they just put out. They've gone through quite a process can imagine we're 2,000 plus person agency. So that has been vetted. They actually have like attorneys on staff and all types of assets to kind of move it. I have Deputy Chief Lennon on staff to get that done for me. So, but he's doing quite a job. And I've also contacted the Massachusetts Police Chiefs Association. And what we've done from that conversation is we put out to all of the police chiefs to forward their policies, the ones that have policies. So we have a collection of them that we can all look at. But when you look at them, they all pretty much say the same thing. They're all based on the best practices at the time they were written. So that's a work in progress. We're pretty confident that we will come up with a policy that will be pretty much the standard that you're going to see anywhere. Now, what you also need to know, in the police reform bill, there is a commission that was set up with to address body camera use in policy. Their report is not due out until July 1st of 22. There are an eclectic group of people who are on that policy board, and there'll be 5 public hearings across the state on that. So there'll be opportunity for anybody that wishes to get involved and participate and watch and question any of the policies. But in the meantime, they're not expecting people to wait until that's done. They've been given some marching orders to basically come up with best practices. We're pretty certain that it will fall within what we're going to do. There may be some adjustments when the final report comes out and how that's administered, but whatever it is, we'll just make the required adjustments if need be. So that is all coming. So that's a work in progress.
So did you say July 1st of 2022?
2022, yes.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, if you look at what the state police just did, they just implemented their body camera policy within the last month. They've been deployed. They're doing it troop by troop. They're in the F troop. No pun intended. That's F troop is starting right now. So they went with the company we didn't have our eye on, the one that is like well known as Axon. We've got prices on them. We went with WatchGuard, which is also part of Motorola now. So they're a pretty dependable organization. We had a demonstration from them the other day. It's pretty good. It's really, when you start drilling down and really understanding how they function, what they can do, what they can't do as well. That's important to know. In any type of video, it's not capturing everything that you think it might, but it gets you in the ball game. And it's always the view of the officer. There are some things that can take place. For example, if an officer's raising his arms to shoot or do something to protect himself, it may block out the camera, so you may not see a lot of things. When you couple it with a dash cam, which we're going to present to you, a dash cam, for you who don't know, that's a cruiser camera. Have a camera right in the cruiser. It's best. That is the best scenario when you have a combination of a cruiser cam and a body cam, and then when they work together, they create a much better picture of a lot of things. So with that being said, when we looked at Axon and their cost, it was pretty high. The product is good. I can't say that, and that it isn't. But they have a good product, but the price is up there. And when we took a look at WatchGuard, we came up with some I didn't come up with the pricing. The deputy really did the work with the WatchGuard representatives to come down. Well, what is this generally going to cost us? And they have some options. You can upfront buy cameras and then pay for a subscription annually. But what they have that was really interesting, which we didn't know about, was they have a pay-as-you-go cost. And it brought the pricing down significantly. for example, for 1 month cost for a one body cam and a cruiser cam with 3 cameras in the cruiser, front, back, and in the back seat, you come up with a monthly fee of $189 a month. We would deploy those in 18 cruisers, and that would give us 18 body cameras. We would like to get an additional 12, let me see, a total of 33 body cameras. So that would be an extra 15 body cameras that will help with our deployment. So we always have enough body cameras for those that are on the road, because you don't want to run short. You could, violate the policy, that one could go down, and a lot of different things could happen. So for a total of 18 in-car systems and another 15 body cams, which their price per month is $49 a month for each camera. When we were looking at the cost of, upwards around $130,000 a year, with this package deal with WatchGuard, AKA Motorola, we can come up with a price of around $43,000 a year that covers everything in a pay-as-you-go plan. We found that very helpful. I think it falls more in line with what the town probably could afford or wants to, depending on where you sit. So that's what I think is the positive news, but you'll have to be the judge of that. Now, the one piece to it that has to be added to the first year of the contract is installation. Installation cost plus some training cost is a total of about $20,000. And when I say this, we also have to understand that this has got to go out for RFP. We know that, but this is, to try to get us where we need to be. That's what we could do if we had an RFP. That's what the price for this product would come up with. So we have a pretty solid idea of what that will cost, and it would be my recommendation that that's what we do. And this, we have some vehicles on how to try to get that done without too much, with as minimal cost to the town as possible, so we can get a grip on this.
So you're looking for $63,000.
63 would be, yes, for the first year, would be about 65 and change, give or take. And then the following years would be about 45.
All right, so 65,000. Did the state police go out to bid?
They did.
How long do you think it would take you to go out to bid?
I don't think it would take very long. I believe the deputy has a template basically for how to do it, and we'd have to change a few things. But we have the basic information of how to put that RFP out. And following the 30B guidelines, we don't know that it would take that long to get it.
The state police got theirs done in 4 months, but their total cost was $21 million. So I'm hoping that we have all their paperwork, and this is why we didn't have some of the information with the first meetings. The chief was able to make a contact at the state police, and they literally sent us everything that they use for their RFP, which I have is 87 pages. Their how they evaluated the different vendors, what they used is their was their choice to select WatchGuard. So we have all of that. So I'm confident that with the requirements that we would need, and I'll have to lean on Svetlana for some assistance with this, or a lot of assistance, but I'm hoping that we could probably get it done in about 90 days. Because after you issue the RFP, and then, we allow the vendors to come in and do their demonstrations before we do the evaluation and the award. But I think we can we could pick the pace up a little bit based on what the state police did, because they vetted 5 of the major companies and they landed on WatchGuard as a number 1 based on a variety of different reasons. So we would really lean on them because they are purchasing, as I said, $21 million worth of equipment from this one company and then rolling it out.
Great.
Does anyone else have any questions? Judy?
So I just want to go over the numbers, Chief. So the 189 per month was for the full kit, the body camera and the cruiser, and the 49 per month was just for the extra body camera only.
Yes, yeah, an individual camera alone is $49 a month. The combination package of the cruiser cam and a body cam included as is $189 a month.
Okay, and how did you come to the number, the 18, well, 18, that's because that's how many vehicles, I'm sure, and then a person for each vehicle. And then how did you come to the number of 15 for the extras?
I'll take a shot at Kevin. If you want to explain it, you might be able to be more.
Sure. In speaking with the sales rep, the way the camera works is when an officer comes off the road, the battery's going to be drained and they have to plug it into a charging base, and then it has to offload the video. And depending on how many interactions they have, it could take an hour to offload the video, or it could take 4 hours to offload the video. So if we go with the number that we're looking at, we will always have cameras ready for the next shift coming in. And then, we looked at 2 supervisors, a maximum of maybe 8 officers coming in. We would issue a camera to our K9 officer or PAC officers that don't come to the station. And then other people around the building, a lieutenant or a detective or whatever it may be. So we landed on that number, and then it also gives us a couple spares in case a camera breaks.
Okay, thank you. That's much clearer. I also have some questions about the process for the policy establishment, because it sounds like you've done a good amount of homework and you have a lot of info that you just need to synthesize to get something that you would be happy with. But I heard this idea of collaboration, and we all know that although that gets us a better product, it makes the road a little slower sometimes. So when there's a blank piece of paper, or when there's a draft piece of paper, from that point, does that have to go back through your union negotiations? Is that a contractual issue? That part's all taken care of.
That's all taken care of. We agreed that they can work with us, and in any type of negotiation, it basically says, if we reach an impasse, we implement whatever we come up with. I don't really anticipate too much of an issue with that at all. I think that, we're at a point where our officers want them. Now, there are, like all of us, we have certain concerns, because this is kind of a like a unknown to us. We're like, stepping out of the spaceship on it with a cord. We're like, wait a minute, how does this all work? There's a little bit of apprehension, which is natural. How long are records kept? How long does recording go back? What do I have to have it on every minute? What if I'm eating supper? What if I accidentally put it on? What if I'm at someone's home? Do I have to have it on when I'm interacting with, giving out shop with a cop? Do I have to have it on all that time? What does the public need? What if I'm in someone's private space on a call? Do I have to shut it off? All those questions are legitimate, and most of those have all been worked. We got to remember, these have been used for well over a decade. They've all been worked out in other places, and I'm confident we will work them out. And maybe as time goes on, like everything, our idea is to constantly get better, and we learn from our mistakes. So
I guess more my question is, at the local level, because it sounds like you're confident this product can be produced and that you'll have buy-in. Then does that go to the selectmen? Just, is there a hearing, or is that all internal in the department?
No, if you want to look at it technically, Town of Yarmouth is a strong chief town, which most towns are. The chief of police makes policy.
Okay.
That's because I'm the one that's responsible. You don't want someone making policy and then it's thrown on you that you have to like somehow manage someone else's policy. But so that's technically how it is. But on the other hand, we're not afraid. This is all public record. This is not like something that's going to be hidden from sight. Matter of fact, I wouldn't even mind putting it out there as soon as we're done. Here it is. Or even one of the selectmen suggested having some of the public be involved in making policy. I'm not sure that's like we're at that point, but I don't mind having some key people come in after we're done to take a look and say, hey, here you go, questions, comments, here you go. And also, even more so, we're going to have a bigger stage when the commission gets going on that. They're going to set up 5 public hearings on just body worn camera policy. When you think of the complexity of what they've done to make this work, I guess it's all good in the long run, but man, it is a lot of work. But like I said, this is not rocket science. We've gone through all of this. And part of it is to appease people, to make sure that we're taking good of the public interest. And it's not necessarily taking care of the officer's interest. It's more the public interest, because, you know, we work for you. So we got to make sure we're doing right by you and the expectations are met.
Can I ask?
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
sorry, I just have one more, Kathy, sorry.
Hi.
So my other one is after the order is placed, maybe Assistant Chief Lennon, what's the delivery time? What's that window?
We didn't get into that yet with the company. They said that like their test and the test and evaluation equipment is being used a lot, but they didn't say, but I would imagine that the order would be processed fairly quickly. He didn't say anything. We talked about the number of units that we're looking for, and they didn't indicate that there would be any type of delay. The biggest part would be the installation of the cruisers, because that's probably going to take a couple hours per car. But other than that, the rest of it is just getting the equipment to us. And then we have to train all the staff on the policy and then on the use of it. And there's going to be different levels to the policy. There's an officer level, then there's a supervisor level, and then there's a command staff level, because there are different times when people can look at footage and not look at footage, and who can see what, and then it all rolls up to the chief for the ultimate decision. But so, you know, it would probably take us, a month once we got everything to get everybody comfortable with it and then get it rolled out.
Thank
On
you.
the training issue, don't get all like worried about the training, like there's going to be all this additional overtime and stuff. According to the state police, when I talked to them, to operate this camera system, the training is maybe about 5 minutes. It's a fairly simple, and some of it will be just building that into your routine, when to turn it on and when to turn it off. There are also some abilities to have things automatically turn on. It's not everything. We would like to be able to like send a reminder out to be able to see when an officer's camera's not on when they're interacting with someone, but that is not possible. There are some functions, and correct me if I'm wrong, Deputy, that when the lights are activated, that can instigate a camera turning on.
That is correct. So there's different features with the product. If you couple it with the cruiser cameras that we set, if they turn the lights on, if they turn the siren on, you can go as deep as if they hit a certain speed, it'll automatically activate the cameras, and then they talk to each other. So that once the cruiser camera goes on, it automatically activates the body camera, so they don't forget to turn it on when they're getting out of the car. And then the body camera acts as the microphone for both units. So they don't have to worry about carrying a separate microphone that would be then recorded in the cruiser on the cruiser cameras. Everything would work together.
And can I just make a comment regarding the whole concept of using the body cams? You know, there was an article written that kind of made it look like this is just to protect the police officers. It goes well beyond that. It's all about transparency, making sure our citizens are treated correctly. They can be used as training. We can take a look at let's say, an officer's last 5 vehicle stops and see how they are doing to make sure that they're treating the public right. And they're also using the basic skills to keep them safe as well. So this is a mutual benefit for everybody. And there can be nothing more transparent than seeing a person's words and actions on the street.
Great, thank you. I have a couple of questions on, have you worked out storage procedures? Does this include, how does that work? Is that,
It's all done in the cloud. There will be no on-site computers. That's an option that they offer. But I know that the town is moving away from that. So everything that we're doing is all very secure off-site storage. So basically, we have a docking station in the police departments that connected to a router that goes right out through a secure link to Motorola's. It's called Command Central, and all of the video is stored there, and it's all encrypted. So if anybody hacked into it, they couldn't see it. If one of our officers dropped a body camera and somebody picked it up and they were able to crack it open to get to the little platter, the little solid state drive, there's no data that they can pull off of it because it's all encrypted. So we don't have to worry about that. It well exceeds the industry standards.
okay, so it labels it by date or?
It labels it by date and by GPS location. So when the officer records something, they then tag it, and there's a little LED screen at the top of the camera, and they scroll through it and they pick the incident type. So it would be a traffic stop, an accident, a domestic,
Okay.
an assault and battery, and then it's tagged. And then the officer would go into software on their MDT, or they can even do it on their phone, and they would attach it to our calls for service number.
Great, thank you. What's happening in other towns on this? Have you heard anything, what the surrounding towns, what they're doing?
Yeah, it's a lot of them are in the same boat as far as, yeah, we need this. Some are further behind than others because honestly, just to let you know, there've been 70 police chiefs that have left the job in the last 8 months in Massachusetts. So there's a big transition, but because of all the demands have been put upon us to do different things. I'm not leaving, so it's my job to get this done. But they are moving. Mashpee Police, they did a pilot program. They're currently doing that right now. They're evaluating the same one we're looking at. I think they've made the final decision. They're going with that. They're not instituting the car video yet. Town of Brewster, they have video in the cruises. They've had that for a few years, about 2 or 3 years now. Truro Police Department will be purchasing cameras. I'm not sure what degree. I believe just the body cam, not the car cams. Nantucket has had dash cams for quite some time. Like you said, the biggest agency in the state, or the two biggest agency, Boston and State Police, they have them. And there's other communities across the Commonwealth that have them.
All right, great, thank you. Does anyone else have any more questions about the cameras themselves?
I have a question. So does the department actually have somebody's policy that they're going to use to start with? And will each officer or whoever has a camera be required to read, understand it, and sign that they do have it?
Yeah, so Kurt, I have policies from the Massachusetts State Police, Boston Police Department, Methuen Police Department, Worcester. I'm getting one from Brewster, from Wellesley, and from the Indianapolis Police Department. So I've done some research looking, nationwide on different policies and different camera systems that are out there. Our policy is being based off of the state police and the Boston PD policy, which is pretty much the same that Mashpee used. So the language, as the chief said earlier, a lot of it is it's boilerplate, it's template from the larger organizations. And then the way policies are disseminated in the police department, once a policy is written and approved by the chief, we use the PMAM software that goes out, and each officer is required to log in, review the policy. When the policy is reviewed, there are 4 questions that they have to answer. And the last one is basically the affirmative that I have read the policy and I understand it and I will abide by it. And then that is signed off electronically. So before anybody is allowed to take a body camera out on the street and use it, they have to have read the policy, understand the policy, and then sign off on it.
Okay, and so we're not, the other night, I believe you guys spoke about if a sidearm is drawn or a taser, the camera would come on automatically. Is that still the case with this product?
That is not, but this product offers something that the Axon product does not, which is called record after the fact. So when the camera is in passive mode, it is always recording. It's always recording on on basically a flash drive. So if we have an incident and it wasn't caught by the officer when they got out of their car, we can go back and based on what the salesman told us, we could go back up to about 12 hours, which is longer than most of our shifts. And if there's a significant incident, the policy is going to state that we're going to take the camera and make sure it's secured and uploaded immediately. So losing that data is not going to be a problem. There are a couple companies other than Axon that offer that offer the ability to turn it on with either activating the taser or removing your firearm from the holster. But there are some cons to that. One would be the cost of a taser battery triples. Right now it's about $39 and it goes up to over $100, and we have to replace them every year. Another issue is that we're putting a foreign piece of equipment on our holsters and relying on that to send out a Bluetooth signal, which could get blocked, or there could be a degradation in the signal, or it could just fail. So the camera that we're looking for, and hopefully through the RFP process, we would go with WatchGuard. Their camera does something that the other ones don't, which again is called the record after the fact. Now that only gives us video, not audio. And the reason for that is the wiretap statute. We cannot passively record audio and video because that would be illegal. So it would at least give us video of what's going on. And it would be on every camera. Again, the Axon product, that sounds like a very good fail-safe if someone doesn't activate their camera. The problem is that Bluetooth signal only goes out for 15 to 20 seconds and then it shuts off. So if an officer shows up 30 seconds later and they forget to turn the camera on, they're not going to get that signal. Every camera is going to have the record after the fact feature built into it, and we can always tap into that if needed, if it came to that.
That actually sounds like a better system.
It does. And, when we first started looking at this, and we've been using Axon products since 2008 with our tasers. They are a very well-known company. They, as I said before, they're the industry standard for a lot of things out there. It wasn't until we were able to get the information from the state police that I was able to go through it and look at their evaluation system on the different products that were out there, and then actually talk to the rep from Motorola or WatchGuard and see what they have to offer to see that they're neck and neck. Both offer some great features, and then Axon's got a couple that are really nice, and WatchGuard's got a couple that are really nice. But at the end of the day, the cost, WatchGuard is significantly less, and we are getting significantly more equipment if we went with them versus Axon.
Yeah, the numbers you're talking about today sound a lot different than what was mentioned at the selectmen's meeting from my memory.
It is, and in further conversation with the salesman, I did get the used car lot sales pitch on the first one through, where they said that they would do a 10-year plan. That 10-year plan has now been taken off the table unless we bundle it with a new taser product that's coming out, which is not something that we're looking for. And in speaking with the rep from Motorola, if they were to get the RFP, they would entertain a longer than a 3 or a 5 year contract, maybe even out to 10 years at pricing very close to where we are right now, or with minimal increase. With the Axon 10-year plan, it would have been a minimum of a 3% increase annually. So that 95 would have went up, 3,000 or whatever it is, and then it went up, then it would have went up. So we were going to be looking at some significant increases.
Okay, I'm going to assume we're obviously going to looking to cover the capital cost. You figured out how to absorb the ongoing cost in the future now?
I figured it out.
You took a cut and pay? Okay, I'm just asking because somebody will. I figured you did, but
I don't think absorbing is really a fair way to place it.
well, figure out how to pay for it. How's that?
Figuring out how to pay for it. I have my own thoughts on it. but I'm probably best to be quiet on it. But I think there is some funding that's available to the town. I understand the budgeting. We've been through tough times, worse times. These are tough times. I think there are some avenues where you look at this as a priority issue. To me, it probably is about as priority as it gets right now, because of everything that's happening. And you look at just what happened over the past week in the middle of the country, and you know, it tells a story, and you can put the end to something real quick. And so for the $65,000 this upcoming year, I think that should be able to be located within some of the funds that are available. I would gladly, probably off camera, give you some of my suggestions. And I don't know if they're appropriate because I'm not a finance guy, but I do know where there are pots of money. But being frugal with spending throughout the town, we're going to keep that in mind. Moving forward, again, it can't be absorbed in our budget. That should be known. It needs to be
Yeah.
added. It has to be added to our budget. And
I guess absorb was the wrong word. Just, figuring out how to pay for it going forward. I
Yeah.
guess is, like I said, better question.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's all I have for now.
All right. I'm happy to hear that it's only $65,000 compared to what we heard the other night. We did recommend 4 items for the police in our top 18. Is there
Mhm.
any wiggle room in any of those items to help us? Because we only have $2.1 million once we remove the schools, which we will talk about in a little while. So this is going to take us cutting something or deferring something if we
okay.
we were to do this. So
Well, just to be clear, the 4 items are which ones? I just want to be clear because
I'm not sure this is the current worksheet, but the tasers were our number 1. That was at 33,600. So as I said, I don't think this is the current worksheet.
we got vehicles,
Vehicles, we have 90,000.
90,000, and remember that was a reduction of the requested 179.
Correct. And then we have the radio system upgrades for 81,000.
That is something Kevin can speak probably better on the status of where we are with that piece.
Okay, that would,
that's-
I know you have some spent money there in the old articles, but not much available. I think it's encumbered.
Yeah, so for the current money that we had, we finished installing the consoles, and we ran into, we didn't spend all the money, it came in under budget, which is good. And then we took some of that and we applied it towards the tasers, but the balance, or what we're doing now is I'm working with the Motorola rep who handles radios, because there's a piece of equipment called a comparator, and that comparator ties our radio console into our antennas and our repeaters. Well, we added 2021 technology into 1950 technology, so now we're trying to get it to work. We're hitting some snags. So I had sent a memo down to Mr. Lawton about a month ago asking that money does not expire in May, because that's when it would expire, because it's 2 years old. So right now I'm getting pricing from Motorola to replace that comparator. The money that we're asking for next year, that is to finish off the project, which is, we're still dealing with the issue of German Hill and the Verizon copper wire that we use. We're going to get a significant rainstorm tomorrow, and we can almost guarantee that our radio system is going to fail, and we're going to have to go to our secondary channel. So one thing that I've started the conversation with Motorola and the Sheriff's Department, looking at swapping out our repeaters and then moving to a microwave system. So they would put a microwave at the top of German Hill, and maybe one at the transfer station, then one at our tower. And then we wouldn't have have to pay for a lease line like a Comcast or a Verizon fiber. I don't know what that's going to cost yet, but that is also something that we need to look at, because we've basically, if we don't replace that, we've done a great job replacing the exterior and the tires on a car, and the engine's still a piece of junk. So we need to tie it all out. One thing that we did do is there was a grant program through the state, and we're replacing a bunch of our, it only applied to certain equipment, and we're replacing the majority of our cruiser radios at no cost to the town. We got a grant for about $179,000. We're just waiting for the final approval on that. But back to your original question, if we got that $81,000 for the radios, we would definitely use most of that, if not all of it, but I don't know just yet. And then the TASER money that's there, that 30,000, we signed a 3-year contract with TASER, so we can't cut that. That money has to stay put.
And then we have the Celebrate technology for 25,000. That was the last one.
It's my opinion. I think we might be able to find a solution for that.
Okay, that will help. And all right, so these were the items. We did hear that the schools are going to fund their 2 items, the DY burner and the energy management system with E&D. So those 2 items will be coming off our list, just so the committee knows. But that didn't give us any extra money, because from what I hear, we have 2.1 million, which is exactly what our list comes to once you take out the schools.
Okay.
Stuff on the screen, I honestly don't know what it is, but it looks
So-
like a
so
draft warrant.
I've asked Ed to share with you, because I can't seem to pull it off the phone, the draft warrant, which is almost complete. But what he had up just a minute ago was the capital budget article for the FY22 budget. And in that, it was saying in the explanation, it's not showing for some reason, Ed, I don't know why.
I'm curious on why it's $3 million.
Well, I'll let Ed pull that back up again, because he just had it there a minute ago.
Capital budget did not have the ability to use all of the town's free cash. There are other obligations.
Correct, we understand that.
Right.
But
So
can we
the-
scroll down to the bottom and see what the total is on that? I thought I saw $3 million.
And that amount is over the amount of free cash that we actually have available.
Oh, so this includes items that were not on our list. I can
That's
see.
correct.
Yeah, okay. But it includes all the items on our list with the exception of the schools, is that true?
That's correct. These are all the items that were on your list with the schools removed.
All right, so I guess as far as the committee is concerned, I asked that we set up a meeting for next week. You go back and look at the list. And we will take a recommendation on the body cameras and the cruiser cameras, and we will have to look at our ranking again. And if we were to recommend that item, that we will have to take something off of our list. So
Excuse me, can you scroll down? Ed, can you scroll down that list again to the bottom?
Okay, for what?
Or
the
Article 10, the one you have on the screen, get down to the bottom.
Okay, so these are things other than PD. You talking about this?
Yeah.
These are
yeah,
the-
we ended at Peter Homer. I think anything
Uh,
beyond Peter Homer is not us.
Yeah, you just had one up there that was like the full list. I just wanted to, and it had the body cameras on there.
Yeah, 195,
Yep.
190.
Hold on.
That's what you
So-
had before.
Yeah, so at the bottom line there, I'm just trying to clarify what we have. So if you go down just a little bit further, where you
What
get the
should that
total,
number- What should
that
that
number-
number be?
that number now should be
65.
5.
And that will be spent before the November town meeting.
I would assume so. If we get the okay in May, we start the RFP, get it done, should be up and running by then. So,
Chief, if I could just jump in a bit, I understood you to say that there would be a a article on that warrant that would allow you to go out 5 or possibly even 10 years for contracting. So if that's not on this warrant, it won't be till the November warrant, then the best deal was going to be longer out. So do you have to wait for that better deal from the company? If you're not going to have the permission from the town meeting vote to go out beyond the 3-year limit for procurement?
I thought he said that was off.
Oh, that's two different companies. And what the Motorola rep told me, but I get he's a salesman. What he told me was that we could do the pay-as-you-go plan and pay for it all up front if we wanted to. We could space it out yearly. We could do a 3-year plan, or they would entertain going 5 or 10 years. Mr. Lawton told me that he's working on something for the fall town meeting that would allow us to go more than the 3 years, possibly up to 10 if we wanted to. If this is funded, I'm sure that we could work with the company and get year 1 done, and then after the fall town meeting, extend the contract, or even talk to them and see what they want to do. I don't see that as being a problem.
I'm not sure. I'm not a procurement expert, but I do believe that to extend a contract beyond the written one, it can't be so much greater. Like you could do 3 years with 2 1-year extensions, but I'm not sure you can do a 1 year with 1 9-year extension. So you might run into a little procurement challenge there. I
That's
just don't,
why we have Svetlana. She's the master of procurement, and you know,
She is.
we can go from there.
okay.
Okay. So Ed, when you put in that $65,000 and you scroll down to your 3 point whatever, does that fit within your number, or does that number need to be cut by us?
I think that fits, Ed, from our discussion last
The
night.
selectmen and finance committee hasn't weighed in on what they would like to do.
Okay, but I guess it would help us to know when we meet next week if we have to make any additional cuts.
On Tuesday, the Board of Selectmen are going to review the warrant.
Okay,
But right now, the money you have set aside, it fits in that piece right there. But it could change if the selectmen decide to do so.
That's correct. And or the FinCom, or,
Okay.
you know, recommending to the selectmen.
well, that's good news.
I think that it was, you know, a potential that we would not spend all the free cash and have some that would float into next year, but, you know, again, policymakers haven't weighed in yet.
Okay. All right, so we need to set another meeting date. So we can come up with our recommendations.
Would you like that before or after FinCom meets next week? They're scheduled, of course, for the 21st at 6 o'clock. And meeting if he could at 4, but he hasn't been able to get, I don't see him here. So if you meet after their meeting on the 21st, then they'll get their information before they make their final vote, which I believe will be the 28th. And then we present to the Board of Selectmen on May 4th, our recommendations, both FinCom and capital budget.
Okay, so I can do the 22nd if that works for everybody, but it can't be too late because I do have a Zoom at 6:30, but does that work for anyone else?
Next Thursday.
Right. By then, the selectmen will have their conversation, the finance committee. Do they want our recommendation on this prior to making their decision on Tuesday night, though, Pat?
I think they would appreciate it for their Thursday meeting on the 22nd so that they would be better prepared. But I can ask Brian specifically, but I think they were hoping, it's hard when they meet the night before you and then they're looking for your recommendations and it has to go another 6 days.
Yeah, I mean, I can meet on the 20th also if that works for everybody.
The 20th is better for me than the 22nd.
Okay, the 20. Will, how about you?
What time did you have in mind, Madam Chair?
Um, I have a 6:30 on that night also, so I could do 4:30, 5 o'clock. I don't think it's gonna take us more than an hour to make our final recommendation.
Yeah, Lindsay, I mean, do you care or does anybody else care? 4:30?
No. 4:30 would be great. Yeah.
All right, 4:30, Pat, on the 20th.
Got it.
Just so the committee knows, I guess there is a Board of Selectmen May 4th presentation that we need to work on also. You know, we don't have to finalize it next week, but we will have to set up some additional meetings so we're prepared for that, because that's coming up pretty quickly if we have to get something in the packet.
Yes.
And the 5-year, I guess we're also doing the 5-year plan that night. So this is going to change the 5-year plan. Because the schools changed the 5-year plan also, so we have to work on that.
Yes, I'll look and see, and now I'll look and see what I have from the February meeting. Judy, I probably sent the one that was the previous one for December, so I'll look and get back to that one. And then, is anything that you can give us in writing, Chief and Kevin, that you've, talked about tonight that it would be helpful? And any information and background of the specifics, just the committee likes to see all of those particulars if they have the opportunity, just like a vehicle or another capital purchase. And, before the 20th.
Would it be wise for us to fill out one of the capital form request forms?
That would be nice.
Yeah, that would be great. And then I can keep it in SharePoint as a permanent record for perpetuity.
Right. That'd be great. So we're on for the 20th at 4:30.
Sandy, I have a question.
Sure.
You just mentioned something about the schools and the 5-year plan. How are they connected? Since the school
Well,
doesn't seem to know what a 5-year plan is.
In 2022, we had those 2 school items in our 5-year plan. And now the schools are funding those. They don't really give us a 5-year plan. I wish they did.
Yeah.
But we're lucky we get the 1-year plan. So it won't affect the next 4 years, but it will affect 2022.
Oh, okay. You're just talking about this year. Because I'm at a point right now with the schools where I don't care to entertain any more of the requests because I'm tired of playing this every year, trying to get information from them. And then all of a sudden they magically have money to do things. It does not help us at all.
I think we should see a 5-year plan from them, just like we do the rest of the department.
Well, personally, I would require that at a minimum if we entertain any requests from them in the future.
Okay, we can talk about that. So does anyone have anything else tonight? Pat, will we have minutes next week, maybe, possibly? Something?
I'll take a look at that and see how the transcriber is doing.
And where are we at when it comes to appointments? Are we all set on that? Everybody? I know I saw a few emails on appointments on who was up and who isn't. Maybe we can.
I sent a note to Mr. Horgan, and I'll follow up and see where we're at with that. I'm not at my desk, so I can't pull up exactly who's pending, but I can do that and get back in touch.
We can get that cleaned up. That would be great.
Excellent.
You're all set, Pat? Sandy,
Yeah.
I think Kurt and I should just chime in here on the DPW building building progress.
That would be great, because I've been getting questions on.
Okay, so things are moving along really beautifully, and actually tomorrow was the day of occupation, but there was a huge delay due to the fact that the electrical panel did not arrive on time, and the electrical subcontractor had to find another supplier, which put them off 2 weeks. And then our committee met last night. And just before that meeting, it was determined that there was yet another 2-week delay. So although there's been beautiful progress and things are just sailing along, there were some snags. This is the major one. There were some other snags with electrical services, again, the electrician, the landscaping where plants were ordered, but there was no provision for actually having them stuck in the ground, which needs to be done so they don't die. Kurt, plumbing, there were some plumbing issues that needed to be revised. So there have been some little delays. I think this is a huge project and it's been amazing to watch it go up. But now as we're trying to finish it and maintain the level of quality for the finish, there are some problems as we're coming to the finish line.
Okay, there's usually a punch list at the end.
Oh, this is
Oh, we
like,
haven't even got there
we're
yet.
not anywhere near that. No. We're talking serious delays, we're talking like a month now. So that's,
There were
Yeah.
major oversights in the contract documentation that things were left off the list, and some people decide to authorize change orders without our consent, and I could spend an hour explaining all of it to you, but you don't want to hear it. It's just very aggravating, but at the same time, I do
that's why
believe
I
that
talked.
that the contractor is doing their best with what they have.
Okay,
Excuse me, I'm sorry to butt in. The deputy and I have another meeting to go to.
okay, well, thank you so much.
I thank you. We'll get that document to you. We appreciate your time and, get this put on you. And I know it's not the way we like to do business, but it's an important issue that needed your time.
We
Thank you.
appreciate all your hard work on it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chairman, before you adjourn, I was wondering if I could have just a moment of your time.
Okay, who is this?
My name is Robert Rittenauer. I'd like to
Okay.
introduce myself. I'm the new town administrator here in Yarmouth. And I just wanted to let you folks know, I have a very, sincere and, deeply valued interest in the whole capital improvement program and process. I hope to work very closely with you to ensure that we elevate the work of this committee and all of the departments together in having that capital program and make sure that that is a critical part of the town's, management, and that type of financial planning, I've always felt is the most important thing, that we do. There is obviously never going to be enough resources to address all of the infrastructure and capital needs on a short-term basis. But if we work together and make sure we establish the priorities over a multi-year process, that's the way that the town is going to move forward. So I just wanted to make sure everyone knows me. I want to make sure that you know of how strong my interest is in assisting in the capital asset management, planning, financing. I want to be a resource to this committee and to hopefully have a positive contribution and impact. So that's all I wanted to say. And thank you, very much for all of your service. It's absolutely critical to have your committee.
Well, thank you. And we look forward to working with you. We hope that you tune into our meetings. And we've had some frustration over the last few years. And we look forward to working and seeing how you can help us with some of the issues that we've run into. Does anyone have any questions for a new town administrator?
No, it's nice to meet you though.
Thank you. It's nice to meet you.
Welcome.
Welcome to Yarmouth.
Slugger, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
The old camp director used to say when I was a kid, welcome aboard, Slugger. So what else can we say? I have to turn into a dad pumpkin, Madam Chair. I am sorry.
That's okay.
Mr. Rittenauer, welcome.
I would
Thank
move
you.
to adjourn if there's nothing else.
All right.
Second,
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Lindsay,
Yes, I.
Judy,
Aye.
Will,
Aye.
Kathy,
Aye.
Bert,
Aye.
and Sandy. I will see you all next week on
Thank you.
Tuesday, on the 20th. Thank you so much for you taking the time. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Pat.
I'm right here.
Good night. Night, Ed.
Good night.